Good afternoon. This is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com and welcome to a play review on ADSK. Today is May 17th, Friday, and look at this tail. Look at this tail. This is a great gap this morning, and now it's flipped. In fact, I was looking at it to go back down again and reshort it. And then I said, it can't get over 36. And then when it did, it looked enticing. I said, nope, lay off of it, everybody. And then at one point, I even said it could actually go green. And now it did. Look at that. Unbelievable. Nothing to do with this here. Let's go over it. So, nice gap. Beautiful gap. Fabulous gap. Rated 22 points. Really like the gap. Okay. Opened even lower than expected. Wasn't enough volume in this in the morning. The gap was real. Okay. Big stop on this, but it paid. And you had an ad in this and a nice place to lower your stop. And once again, the original target on this actually was, well, there was two different targets. The original target was 36.50. Okay, the original target was 36.50. Then if it broke on through, you have to say 36. Then 35.50. And as it turns out, this actually broke down and went under $35. At one point when it was running down, you know, I said you could trail it to see if it gets down to 34. But of course, you got to go bar by bar. At this point, it did get 40 cents from $34, which is amazing. Once again, when the momentum comes into these stocks, when they sell off big, they run hard and fast, and they happen in the first 30 minutes of the day. And this is the time to make money. And particularly in the short side. If you are a person that has a limited time of the day and you want to profit in the market, the direction to pick to do it in the morning is down. I 100% agree with that. Although I think that even great, wonderful, fabulous bullish gaps perform right away early if they're going to work too, but they do take longer to get to the targets, where you have to stay in the thing longer in the morning, but not with shorts. I mean, not with shorts at all. So from the entry on this, it ran $2, okay, and did have the ad and nice momentum, nice moving averages, squishing down on top of this, never any question. In fact, when I filled out this sheet today, I said, how do I want the stock to set up in the open? What does it have to do? Open to show immediate weakness, not rally at all. Boom, did it immediately, instantaneously. Now, when you're in here, you're waiting, you're watching, you think it could go to $34, what do? It's gone way past every target you thought of, so you should have been ready to take it off. And you should have been out of some in here anyways, or had the stop. Lowered. This kind of activity here, this formation, this bar, this is very important. Something's going to happen here. Now, that activity could proceed one of two ways. Flush up or down. But this is a sign. This is a sign in here, this guy. This is a sign that it's going to do something big, okay? And that's what it did, but it went up. Now, it could have as very well have continued down and crushed under the 34, but that's not what happened. You would not be in this over here. And actually would have given too much back if you had held it. But this is the kind of trade, I get a move like this. I don't let this go green into here and retrace the whole thing. I'm out of half of it, or if not the whole trade. But in this case here, it went past my target. My target was 35, okay? My target was 35 and it went 10 cents through it. What do you want out of life? It's 9:45. The move happened. You're in, you're out in 15 minutes. If you squeeze it on through, you did get paid more. Okay, it did have a bigger move down in here, actually 60 cents. It would have been worth it, but you got to trail this in here. You can't give too much back. So even if you exited after this pop up here, you would have got out the same price as here, look. So, you know, you play it the best you can, but this is a beautiful move. If you do not know how to trade on the 1 minute chart, what do? Nothing. There's no play in here. There's no entry on the 2. There's no entry on the 5. There is no correct entry on the 2 minute or the 5 minute of this chart. If you do not know how to trade in the 1 minute time frame, which I'm an expert at doing, you didn't get this today. Or your stop was gymongous and your entry was a piece of crap, because there was no entry in the 2 and there was no entry in the 5. There was nothing that made any sense. The only specific qualifications, entries and exits and stops and everything was in the 1 minute chart. You got blown through a nice profit if you stayed in it, even trailing it on the 5. And so here's where I saw the failure, that it was done. I was looking for it actually to continue down to a bigger number when it started to do here. And I said, all right, let's watch this to rally back up here into this position. take a second trade. Ah, it broke down and broke down in this moment into here. It broke down. And then I said, this is just probably done unless it holds $636. When it rallied back up here, it did this ugly topping tail and it blew up to 36.10. Once again, no excuses. Okay, you do not make excuses for something, waiting, hoping, helping, It's all in the numbers. It should not have gone over $36 if it was going to continue lower. In fact, to be honest, after the break on through, it really should have held $35.50. Now, in the moment this happened fast, I didn't see this hard fall off when I was looking for the 36 number, but I knew dead end, all get out was 36. Can't get over that. And it did. So then you don't do this. You can't short every single sell setup in a 5-minute chart. You can't short every single sell setup on any chart. It has to make sense with the numbers. That's the only way to trade. When it started doing this, I said, this is looking enticing because of this. Squishing down on top of it. But I said, I'm not going to call trade in this. I'm not going to do it. And it's invalidated the numbers. The reason for getting back into it was invalidated. Therefore, you don't do it. And look what it did. Now, people are going to try to short this in here. That's insane. And actually, I wouldn't put it past this thing now to just blow higher into the afternoon because people are going to buy this in here now. Like, let me just take a look at something. This is ridiculous, though. You're done. The play was this morning. The play was a short. It's a bearish gap. It was a good one. It flipped because it went so hard and fast past the target. It actually flipped from people covering. And now buying's going to come into it now because we are in a strong market, but this isn't really going anywhere. It was a down gap. I have to see how this closes today, but I wouldn't put it past this thing. Let me just look. 38. I wouldn't put us past this to rally up to 38 today. That would be ridiculous. This is, the momentum was down. But look at it. So I saw this wasn't going to work then after that. To go lower, could have. Too big of a green bar. Too much going on here. Look, you can see this here. At this point here, it had not gotten over 36, but this was not what you want to see. All right, not what you want to see at all. And this isn't what you don't want to play into that. You don't want to play into something that looks like this now. All right, this could do absolutely anything here. It could blow all the way up to $38 or $39 this afternoon in the next 2 hours on a Friday on low volume, or it could fall all the way in back down to $35. This is a mess now. There's nothing to do. Okay. When you see something that is a great gap, you take the setup in the correct momentum, in the correct direction. That's it. You're out. Your day is done, and it was done in 15 minutes or by 10 o'clock the latest. You don't keep batting around going after something, flipping it, going this way, going long, going short later. The short is over. This is nothing to do. You can't really buy this because it's not a bullish gap. It's a down gap, and it had the move this morning, and it was big. It flipped because it just moved too far, too fast, too soon, too quick. Okay? And there was a lot of covering that happened instantaneously and also some buying. Does that mean you buy it? No. Okay, it was a good gap. It's a damaging gap. And this thing now is just a mess. You need clean plays to make money. Clean plays happen with clean setups. Clean setups happen when there's a clean number and a clean stop and a clear direction at a certain time of the day that has to make sense, and it's got to have the momentum behind it. Otherwise, there's no way to make money. If you don't have momentum, how are you making money? Squeezing 10 cents or 15 cents out of something, which is not the proper way to trade. So it was a beautiful, beautiful gap this morning, a beautiful short. And if you got it, congratulations. It worked out really nicely. So this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com. This is ADSK. Nice golden gap. They're rated 22 points this morning. Beautiful. The whole move was over in the morning. Whole move was over in the morning. That's it. It was done. It's now going over the high of the day. Has a huge bottoming tail that looks like a monster. There's nothing to do. But it was a nice short this morning, and that was the only correct positioning play, and it was on the 1-minute chart. This is another reason to take the gap class, to learn how to trade on these smaller time frames, because they do set up. They set up really nicely with the beautiful stops and the beautiful entries, and it's important to learn them. So this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com. If you're interested in more information or upcoming Golden Gap class dates, please feel free to email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Thanks, everyone, and have a great afternoon.